Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It's I, the Reluctant Gringo, back again with another video. Well, the proxy fight within the Disney board of directors is heating up. Last week, George Lucas shattered the hopes of Star Wars fans by endorsing Bob Iger, which should not have been a surprise to anyone. If George came out and spoke against Iger, the stock price would have taken a hit. George was paid in Disney stock for Lucasfilm, so he's not going to do or say anything that would cost him money. As for Nelson Peltz, the so-called activist investor trying to get two board of directors replaced with himself and one of his partners, first off, I find it funny that the media keeps referring to Peltz as an activist investor and doing so in such a negative connotation when they do not refer to the current board members as activist directors who insert activist messaging into Disney content whenever and wherever possible. Second, Peltz gave an interview to the Financial Times, and some of the things he had to say were interesting, and of course the Financial Times could not resist putting a little bit of a hit piece out on Peltz, bringing up an old rumor from the 1980s that Peltz had women play tennis topless for him while he watched. In the interview, Peltz claimed that he is not going against Bob Iger. He just wants to help him. And remember, Peltz's company owns about $3.5 billion in Disney stock, so with the decline in profitability over the last couple of years, Nelson Peltz has a legitimate grudge to consider. Peltz has been critical of the $71 billion acquisition of Fox by Disney, which put the company in considerable financial debt and really has not materialized much in the way of profit. He was critical of the last 5 major films released by Disney, all flops: Wish, Indy 5, The Marvels, etc. According to Peltz, Disney has lost its #1 spot in animation and in feature film. So logically, isn't it time to reconsider the management of those divisions, even calling out Kevin Feige, head of Marvel, stating, "I question his record." Peltz also questions the lack of succession planning for CEO. Iger left a few years ago, was replaced with Bob Chapek, which was a disaster, and then Iger returned with a 2-year contract and no one seemingly ready to take the top spot when he leaves again. Lastly, Peltz does believe that woke ideology is hurting the Disney brand. In his words, people go to watch a movie or a show to be entertained. They don't go to get a message. So Peltz has targeted 2 specific board members of Disney to replace when the annual shareholder vote takes place on April 3rd. Those 2 are Michael B.G. Foreman and Maria Elena Lagomasino. Both of these people are accomplished executives in the world of finance. Their bios are littered with excellent education and position at places like Chase Bank, Coca-Cola, J.P. Morgan, and MasterCard. None of which are entertainment companies, mind you, but let's forget about that and look at the one thing both have in common that is overlooked and I think is the crux of Peltz's concern. Besides being strictly in the investment and financial sectors, both are members of the Council on Foreign Relations. What is that, you ask? Well, the Council on Foreign Relations is a think tank that produces political and social policy recommendations for the government. Basically, they recommend to Congress and to the president what should happen with a number of issues. Sounds like a noble job. But really, the Council on Foreign Relations is considered a hard-left group that tries to sway political agendas to the progressive left side of the political spectrum. They have massive political influence, which begs the question, what the hell do these people have to do with family entertainment? Look, trying to influence political policy is something that can be a righteous calling, but how exactly do these individuals qualify to review and greenlight movie scripts, show ideas, or marketing concepts? What filters are they using to recommend changes to storylines or character development? Make no mistake about it, the board of directors has to approve every project that Disney, Lucasfilm, Pixar, and Marvel go forward with. We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars for each decision made. So the question remains, is Nelson Peltz an activist investor trying to raid corporate Disney, or is he just a concerned investor who wants to see the right people in the right positions to make the best decisions for the company? And one thing is for sure, when you look at the makeup of the people who actually control the money in Disney, it is clear that politics and the culture war are controlling factors in every creative decision made at the House of Mouse. In essence, Disney has become an extension of the political propaganda machine that has entrenched itself in Washington, D.C. And that's my thoughts on the matter. We will see what happens on April 3rd. I do not have high hopes for Peltz's success, but anything is possible. And let me know what you think. Is Nelson Peltz correct? Should he be voted into the board? And do you think it would help Disney? And I wanted to take a moment to let you know that every now and again you can see my live streams as I play, review, and react to video games throughout the week. So if that's something that interests you, and if you see me streaming live, hop on, and I'd love to chat with you. And I'm an open book, so any question you have, I'll do my best to answer you. And with that, I'm still your reluctant gringo. And from south of the border, salute and a huevo.